So environmental psychology is the study of how the surrounding environment affects thoughts, feelings, and behavior. So it's how the physical environment will affect the way people think or feel or act. The discipline follows primarily the scientific method, and so we use data to test hypotheses. We build theories that can be used to explain the findings, and then we try and use those findings for applied purposes. So we can take the findings from the research and we can incorporate them into the design of physical spaces, or for parks, or for recreation, or for schools, or for businesses. So it's a basic science, but also an applied science, and it's empirical in its focus. So my research doesn't fit cleanly within environmental psychology. So if environmental psychology is the scientific study of how the physical environment affects behavior, my interests are in how we can encourage people to engage in behaviors that protect the environment. And so primarily focused on the natural environment, environmental issues such as climate change or recycling or water conservation or consumable purchases, these types of things. A small amount might involve the physical structure of it, but a lot of it involves social interactions. And so how we can create and understand the behaviors that people do that affect the natural environment, and how we can change those in a way that will reduce our impact and solve environmental problems. So a lot of my research uses social norms, and so the theory that we have is called the theory of normative conduct, and the basic idea is that people are affected by what they believe is the norm in a particular setting. So there's a strong pressure for people to conform to the social pressure, to do things that are similar to what other people are doing, or to do things that are things that would receive social approval, that other people would like if you did it. And so how then can we use this theory of normative conduct to create campaigns or programs or messages that will encourage environmental protection and conservation? So I work with a number of different organizations. If I think about the different types, so utilities, companies that provide energy, electricity, water to homes and businesses. So I work with these companies to create programs that can help them to manage the demand for their services. I work with businesses who are interested in developing a corporate approach to sustainability and conservation. And I work with governmental agencies who are trying to create programs that can help to address environmental issues.
What are some possibilities where environmental psychologists can apply their knowledge outside academia? So maybe what are some possibilities for pursuing a career that is not within universities and within science?
Certainly there are plenty. As I said, with regard to government agencies, businesses who are interested in creating sustainability programs for their companies, also with marketing firms that help to develop the campaigns that different organizations will use to promote change. I think what's important is that we draw on the science, and so a lot of students end up going into these applied types of careers, but my advice to them would be, don't forget your science. Don't forget your science, because it becomes very easy to start creating programs that aren't based on well-established principles from environmental psychology. And so if you or students go into applied careers, always carry with them their environmental psychology and don't stray too far from it.
What are currently the most important issues and the most important research questions that should be pursued by environmental psychologists? So, most important theories and most important research questions.
I think the big question is, where should we focus our efforts? So thinking about, we have all of these tools that we can use to create change. We have tools that we can use to create good conservation programs. But how to maximize the effect and how to focus our efforts so that we really do have a meaningful impact. Sometimes we conduct our studies on a small scale and we don't think about, can we scale this up? Can we use this on a much larger level? So I think for me those are sort of the next steps for the field. So I guess advice for the students would be exactly that to recognize that what's in the textbooks and to recognize that what they learn in their courses is useful outside of academia. I think oftentimes students think that the things that they learn only apply at the university. And once they leave, now they're grown up, and so they don't need those things anymore. But my advice would be, don't forget your science. Don't forget the findings that you've learned from your training, and also keep learning to recognize that what we know now is not all that there is to know, and that in 5 years, 10 years, things will change. And so continuing to learn and to stay involved with the field, attending conferences, reading papers, participating in the community of research in this area.